Hello everybody, welcome back to another Lutys chainsaw mod. Just got a quick one today. I'm doing some work on this saw, actually it's solo for somebody, but I wanted to talk about zanoah pistons. When I talk about zanoah, basically Chinese chainsaws. Okay, here's one. Timber Pro CS 580 58cc. This is but it's just got a cheapy kit on it, but I've had that for a while and it needs some work doing on that. So yeah, zanoah clones, zanoah chainsaw clones. So the reason, I mean, I do a lot on these Chinese because the bits are cheap, and you can get a lot of power out of them. I've got one that pushes 8 horsepower. If you've watched my videos, you've probably seen it. I run it up on my dyno, which is just there, and homemade dyno. Like I said, if you watch me, if you follow my channel, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So a friend of mine had he asked me what saw is a decent cheap saw, and I told him, well, Parker, because they are zanoah clones. They're relatively cheap, but they seem to be built a bit better than most of the clone saws, the Chinese chainsaws. I've had one for donkey's years, it's never let me down, and I'm so reluctant to do anything to it, modify it, because it's just so reliable. So I bought myself another cheap saw, which is actually still in a box just underneath here. It's that's a 58cc in that box there, look. 58cc zanoah chainsaw. Now they are all the same, but the way the Chinese ones are built a bit haphazardly, if you like. There's no quality in the build really, but you know, if you're prepared to tinker with them, they're great. Now back to what I was doing. So I've got just an average 58cc kit here, but you will find that even these vary quite a bit. Brand new, only cheap. I don't know, probably paid about 15 quid for this, something like that. Now this kit, although it's a cheapy kit, is one of what I call the good ones. I've got a box of old bits and pieces. Let's just show you inside this. I've got a box of old bits and pieces, you know, different parts of these, different cylinders and what have you. But if you look inside there, see how they're wide open? There's no divider in there or anything, it's just completely wide open. Okay, they're just slotted transfers, which in my opinion, yeah, they're the best for modifying, to be honest with you, these, because you know, you haven't got to grind anything really much out of there. I make them a little bit bigger and try and curve the top section under there, and then I open up the exhaust and the intake. Okay, also this one happened to come with a piston with windows in it, which is the best type of zanoah piston you can get, to be honest, even though this was a cheaper kit. The kits vary like crazy. Now I've got another kit here. Let's just have a quick look at this. I tend to be a bit wily now when it comes to buying bits. Have a really good look at them before I purchase them to make sure that they are the decent bits and pieces. See, that's another one, look. What I call a good kit. Got a bloody bearing stuck in there. Anyway, that's a good one, look. Another one with windows in it. Nice piston, that. Slotted transfers, lovely. Great, that is they're perfect, them are. Okay, I'll just see if I can find one that's not great, if you like. Not sure how many I've got, because I tend to avoid buying the bad ones now, because I've learned over time. Here's an interesting one, look. So I bought a Timber Pro chainsaw, okay, years ago, which is that one over there that I was just showing you, okay? It's that one over there, right? Now, over time, I've had it about 17 years, and over time, it wore out like. Now, this is the one I've just been talking about, look, with the nice windows in it, right? But for some reason, that Timber Pro saw came with this in it, and look at that compared to that. Now, I can't buy these pistons now. I've tried and tried and tried. I can't seem to buy them. I modify these. I grind away at different things and I make them look like this, because the flow through these is massive compared to that. Some saws, some of these zanoahs don't even have windows there, like, so I at least buy the ones with the windows in, but I'd love to get hold of some of these pistons again. I can't get hold of them. That's the best piston you can get, really. And to be honest with you, this piston isn't too bad. I might end up reusing this. Just put some new rings in it, and I'll reuse this in a new kit, because I don't really have to do a lot of work to that. It's, you know, the flow's amazing on that. So although they're the same, yeah, there's different pistons, different rings on these. Some are worse than others. There's a big variation. Okay, big variation in these. Someone was asking me not long ago about the 62cc kit, yeah, chainsaws, right? And I said, well, I was interested in them, and I bought a kit because I thought, well, I'll modify one of my 58cc tools. I was disappointed with the kit, and I've never used it as yet. I might, but if I do, then I'm going to modify it, because to me it's not great. It's a bigger piston, basically, than the 62cc one. Now, bear in mind, a lot of people go on about flipping cc's and what have you, but at the end of the day, if you've got a bigger piston, you're going to get more cc's regardless of what it is. So you're going to get more, you'll get more torque out of it, out your saw, regardless of what it is. If it's bigger than the one you've got, you're going to get more power, aren't you? Okay, so it's irrelevant really. It's stuck in there, that, by the looks. Now my mate, see, I didn't open this properly. I took one look at it and put it back in the box because I don't think these are gonna flow very well at all, to be honest with you. Get a bloody piston out of this. Get a bit of GT85 around it, see if I can get it to move. It's a good fit in this ball really, and it shouldn't be that good, to be fair. Which again makes you wonder about these things. You've got to be careful with these Chinese, you really have. You know, because you'll end up flipping, potentially ruining a flipping saw. Okay, so I got that out now. So the first thing, so this is a 62cc kit, okay? The first thing, which I hate, which I think is ridiculous, is that's the blinking piston that comes with it, okay? That's the one that I use. Wait a minute, put that light back on. So these are the ones that I use, look, with the windows in, right? That's the piston that comes with the 62cc kit. You know, flipping rubbish. Now it's plainly bigger. It is bigger because there's a lip. There's a lip there. It's a couple of mil bigger at least. 2 or 3 mil bigger. So yeah, it will increase the size of the capacity of your saw. But that, to me, you know, that's flipping rubbish, that is. Now, I don't know whether they've done it because they thought, oh, if we put a bigger cylinder on it, on one of our saws, they're not going to last very long. Maybe that's why they did it, I don't know. Okay, so that's the 58cc one. Look, with the transfers as well. Transfers are great on that, lovely jubbly. The one on the 62cc, look, has got the divider in the transfers. Okay. Now they're wider. These transfers are wider, but they do have the divider in. Okay, that's one thing, right? And I wasn't too worried about that because they're wider. And I thought, well, that's okay. Now, the exhaust, the shiny one, the silvery one, is the 62cc one. Look. So the exhausts are pretty much the same. Look, I don't know whether they are if I measure them. 26, 27 mil, something like that. That's, yeah, they're exactly the same. Okay, so the exhausts are the same, right? Wasn't too bothered about that. I can grind them. Lovely. Now this is the 58cc on the darker one, remember. The intake on these isn't too bad, to be fair. You know, I do open them up a bit, make them wider. I get rid of that little pointy thing, which is basically encourages the fuel air mix to go around the con rod as it goes into the crankcase. Okay, that's all that's for, and I get rid of that. So these are okay, to be fair, the 58cc ones. But now look at this, right? This is for a 62cc chainsaw, bigger than this. That's the one for the 58cc. That is the intake port for the 62cc. Look how much smaller it is. You know, it's a bigger capacity motor with a bloody smaller intake. And it's that put me off it. I mean, looking at 23 mil across. The 58cc one is 27 mil across. Okay. So it's a smaller intake. Why would you build a bigger capacity saw with a smaller flipping intake? Yeah, it's got more cooling fins. Cooling fins are more prevalent around the bottom of it, look. So remember, that's the 62cc one, that's the 58cc one. It is heavier as well. Obviously, that's probably because of the fins. But that intake is, well, it's rubbish, to be fair. And the problem is because, so the intake on the 58cc, look, you've got the threaded section, which is 40mm centres, and the threaded section on the other one is 33mm centres. So the intake, I don't know what to do with it really. I don't know how I can really improve it. I don't know, because there's not a lot of meat around the sides to put a extra thread somewhere else to make it bigger. Yeah, you can grind it down a bit. It's so disappointing. This is really disappointing, because you want to get these saws going well, you know, you really have to port them out well, and there's a big restriction in this one because of that flipping intake. I wish I'd never bought it actually, but now I've got it, I feel obliged that I need to try and do something with it. And to be honest, I'm really not sure what I'm going to do with it. I'm really not. I mean, looking at it, whether I could drop something down through, whether I could drop a piece of bar or something through there, a piece of bar through there, and then thread into them. I might try something like that, I think. I'd love to be able to do something. So I'm going to probably try something like that, and then rethread it at the sides into a piece of bar or something either side. But it's a lot harder to do it. You know, if they'd have only made it, even if it was the same size as these, I think it would have been, but to make it smaller, it just doesn't make sense to me. Yes, it'll be more torquey, and to be fair, yes, I can do something with the piston because I've made them before now, because some of these 58cc ones come with no windows in, and I grind them in anyway. So I can do something with the piston. I can work on that and do something with it, which I'll probably do. Well, I will do, like, without a doubt. I mean, that this 62cc kit, I'll probably end up putting it on my next build. But I've got to try and work out something on the intake, try and make that intake bigger. So yeah, so now so what I'm saying is basically the 58cc 62cc kit isn't the best, to be fair. I don't think anyway. It'll give you more torque, but as for speed, cutting speed and what have you, I don't know, because you know you've got to have a good nice open intake. And it's going to be difficult to do on that. I will do something with it, and I'm sure I can make it better than what it is, but I don't know. This is why I like these. This is why I said to my mate who bought a Parker, he bought a 62cc one. I said to him, don't buy them because it's going to be like that. Anyway, he did buy it. He likes the saw, to be honest with you, and their Parker saws are very good, to be fair. And it will be quite torquey, but if he's never run a 58cc one before, then you know it's going to feel quite torquey anyway, because they are. I just think the 58cc one is better. Now, talking about these kits, right? So I buy these kits. Another kit here, as I said, that's got the same flipping open intake, open transfers and everything. They're good kits, to be fair. 58cc ones are good kits. You know, they are. They really are. For the money, they're brilliant. And you, like I said, with the pistons, you can put your own windows in, even if you've got a bad piston that doesn't have the windows. You can put them in yourself, because I've done it. The one that pushes 8 horsepower, that's one that I milled. And I've only got rudimentary tools. I've got die grinders and drills and stuff like that, right? I haven't got a lathe or anything. I just drill holes, grind it all out. I lighten the pistons, and I do all sorts with them. And I got 8 horsepower out of that one zanoah that I've got. Now, these kits, they're all over eBay, Amazon. These cylinder piston kits for these, and they are all right. They really are. But I was scrolling through the other day, and I found this. I don't know if anyone else has bought these. Windsor. It's a Windsor 58cc zanoah kit. Piston and cylinder. I don't think I've had it out of the bag actually. But this, I was really impressed with this. Because look, okay, it's in a nice bag. Pistons inside and what have you. You get in the kit, you get gaskets, and they look quite good quality actually. Gaskets. They even give you a tube of silicone to build it with in the kit. Small end bearing and shims. They always come with a small end bearing. They do not always come with side shims. This has got side shims, but also new spark plug as well in this kit. It was 20. No, it was 18 quid. This kit was 18 quid. Right, Windsor. Off eBay. I was so impressed with this. Now, and it's a typical piston, same as the other zanoahs, you know. Typical piston, typical cylinder, sorry. Gudgeon pin, circlips and what have you. Now, but there's one thing with this, which is different to the others. Teflon coated piston. You know, the cylinder's the same. Nice wide open transfers. Lovely. And they are open too. Really good that. But it's got a Teflon coated piston in the kit for 18 quid. So I just thought I'd show that actually, because, you know, if anyone wants to get one, well, I'm really impressed with it actually. Like I say, it comes with everything, even the silicon sealant. But it feels quite light too, this piston. It's got a coating on the top too. Obviously to stop the carbon sticking to it, I suppose. But I'm pretty impressed with that. That's yeah. I'll I might measure it actually just to see what size it is, because I know they vary, these do. Trouble is with bloody the calipers playing up a bit. I only buy cheap stuff, to be fair, and my bloody calipers playing up. It's my own fault. It's my own fault. I don't care, to be honest. Right, let's put it back to millimeters. Zero it off. Don't know if it's working right or not. 15 mil. 0. Might be. Let's measure this one and then measure that one. See what the difference is. 45.14. 45.34. This is it's a bigger piston. They do vary, they really do. Whether it's manufacturing, I don't know, but you know, at the end of the day, an extra little bit, a little bit more size, you know, it's going to be more torquey, isn't it? Let's just see what the bore is. This is the Windsor one. Because ultimately, when you're measuring for capacity, so that is 40, it's 45 mil dead. When you're measuring for capacity, you should really measure the bore, because at the end of the day, piston's always going to be smaller than the bore, to be fair. See, that's 44.6, 44.7. It's 0.3 millimeters. This is a bit. This is going to give you more capacity. This Windsor kit, because it's bigger. It's 45 mil. 45 mil, that is. And the other one, 44 mil. Well, 44.7. So it's gonna be bigger capacity. Let's have a look at this is the 62cc one. Let's just have a quick look at that. So that's 47.38. It is bigger, obviously. But, you know, yeah. Bloody crappy caliper. I only paid 12 quid for it. You know, it looks good. Work zone. It looks good, but it's not, it ain't the best, to be fair. It's a bit unreliable. You've got to work it a bit, really. If you haven't used it for a while, you've got to work it up and down the shaft a fair bit before it starts to work properly. So there you go, another bonus there. Windsor kit, 45 millimeters. So it's bigger. Teflon coated piston. Bigger bore than most of the other kits. And you get all the sealant and everything, you know, it's bloody, it's alright. It's alright, that. 18 quid. Can it go wrong? Nice day down here today in the Shire. I'm in Shropshire, I am. Well, Shrewsbury in Shropshire, you know. Yeah, it's a beautiful day out there today. As you can see, it's shining on my toolbox and everything at the back there. Been a good day today. I've been doing DIY today, so I just thought I'd spend a little bit of time in here, do this quick video. I've got a lot of these kits. I'll buy various ones, you know, because I've got, well, I've got four Zanoahs now, 58cc Zanoahs. I got a little 38cc one as well, but I like the 58cc ones. I think they're great. And again, I do think it's because of this intake. So just bear that in mind. You're buying a 62cc one, it might have a bit more torque, but the 58cc one is probably, well, it's a better option. You know, I've got 8 horsepower out of one of these 58cc ones. I think the 58cc one comes at 3.2 horsepower, and I think the 62cc one, they say it's 3.4 horsepower. It's not a lot more. That'd be because it'd have slightly more torque. But the Zanoah 58cc one, I know I had one. If you remember, if you look back at some of my videos, I had one that I built, and it was revving at 18,500 RPM. And that's the one. It just buggered itself up, like it buggered all the bearings and everything. It burnt itself out, and it was after 4 hours of use. It used to cut like crazy. It would have been a great racing saw, that. But it used to cut so fast, it used to break teeth off and bend teeth and stuff. You know, the chains wouldn't last long on it. It was too much. It's too fast. And that was these 58cc cylinders. There's one of these on it. So I'm impressed with the 58cc ones. You know, I really am. I love them. I think they're great. I don't think you can beat them, to be fair. But I might persevere with the 62cc one on my next build. I'll try and get the weight down on this a bit. I might start drilling some of these fins and try and lighten it a little bit if I can. But I might build the next one with the 62cc kit on it, because I've got a top end kit. I've managed to modify a Husqvarna 372 high top onto a 58cc Zanoah bottom section, because they're very similar. I've got it to fit pretty close. There's some air gaps under here, which is good. I don't mind that. And also I cut the top out to get the heat down, so as you can see right through that, look, so all the heat can come out of the intake chamber, so it acts a little bit like a charge cooler, if you like. Keep the intake cool. So this 58cc kit will probably go on this build, which is going to be another 62cc kit is going to go on this 58cc build. But I've also got something else I want to do. I did something on crankshafts, and there's 2 crankshafts for these Zanoahs, and I'm playing around and messing around with altering the stroke. So on the standard stroke, the 58cc one, this cylinder is going to turn it into a 62cc. But if I alter the stroke, which I haven't got the workings out on me at the moment, but I can alter it by at least a couple of millimeters. If I do that, then, you know, I'm potentially looking at getting into the 70cc bracket, or pretty damn close to it, like. So I'm going to try that on that next build as well. Go all out, put the big bore kit on it, alter the stroke, and that'll be really interesting, especially when I put it on the dyno, see what it actually does. But at the moment, because I'm doing this DIY project, I'm unable to do a lot on these at the moment. I've got to get that project finished. So I think that's it now from Shropshire in the UK. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for the support from everybody. I've been having a lot of people asking me different questions and what have you, discussing about my short expansion chamber. Some people don't, I don't think some people understand. I call it an expansion chamber, and I know it isn't one, because obviously an expansion chamber has to be the size that will contain one combustion pulse in the chamber each time it fires, and then produce an echo from the end of the chamber to push against the intake to try and hold back the fuel air mix. My short expansion chamber, as I've done a video on this, and somebody said, oh no, you won't, you can't have your cone that close to the intake, it won't work. Well, it does work, it really does, and I proved it out. It pushed a saw that I heavily modified. When I put that pipe on it, it pushed an extra 2 horsepower. It went from 6 to 8 horsepower, and that's the most powerful saw I've built at the moment. And this is why I'm going to strive with this 62cc kit with a longer stroke, and we'll see what we get out of that. That's going to be interesting, I think. And I'm going to build a pipe for that as well. My pipe works, I know it works, and I'll build a pipe for that. I might use the same outlet size, I don't know, I like doing experimenting. And I'm going to port this and everything. It's going to be if it works, if it runs right, because at the end of the day, this is what this channel is all about, to be honest with you, modifying chainsaws and 2-stroke engines really. And hopefully I can get it to run right, and if I do, it's going to be a monster, that one. That'll be one that I'll be using just to drop trees, because the biggest saw I've got is I've got a 61cc 038 still, and I've got a MS362 as well, which is 59cc. This is going to be bigger than them, and it's going to be, well, I think it'll be a monster actually. It should be really good. So I've got a lot of work to do on that, and that's going to be interesting. I'm going to enjoy doing that. I'm out of beer now. Well, I might have to go and get myself another beer, I think. So, thank you very much again for all your support, and keep asking the questions. I do like it. I like to, because at the end of the day, it's a learning curve for us all. I know what I do, but other people do stuff too, and I like to hear what they're doing, because it can sometimes throw around ideas, and you can come up with a solution for a problem or whatever, like a better idea. So if anyone's got any comments or whatever on what I've done today, and maybe the new saw build that I'm going to try and build and alter the stroke of the crank, then great. Please keep on, like, share, ask the questions. It's great. It's what it's all about, this channel. So thanks once again from Lutys Chainsaw Mods, and bye for now.